Let us start. Next, let us go to the new chapter or on the same module. That is, today we'll start the thermal stresses. Now, in your undergraduate syllabus as well as in your school syllabus, as in the course or so, you know that the changes in temperature causes the body to expand and changes in temperature causes body to expand or contract. So any material, especially the metals, it is not very sure the non-metals how much they are expand or contract during change in temperature, but mostly in engineering we deals with the metals, and any metal starting from steel, brass, aluminum, copper, etc. are subjected to change in dimension with rise and fall in temperature itself, which means they will either expand or contract according to the rise in temperature with rise in temperature itself, rise or fall of temperature. Now, the increase in the length of the turbine of a uniform bar of length L, and bar is uniform, more or less cross section is same, not irregular, and of length L, and when its temperature is raised from T0 to T0 to T, then the change in length is equal to delta L alpha into L into T minus T0, where alpha is the coefficient of thermal expansion, means the rate of change in dimension or in rise in temperature itself. So if the bar is prevented from completely expanding in the axial direction, then the average temperature stress, generally compressive stress, is reduced. Sigma is equal to E into delta L by L. You know, if the change in increase in length is obstructed, increase in length is obstructed, compressive forces is generated, and decrease in length is obstructed, then tensile load is generated itself. Now here we are saying that temperature is raised, not decreased. So the length will increase, length of the dimension will increase, and so in order to keep it as it is, we have to use certain obstruction which will create compressive stress across this whole length of the body itself. And generally, so far we have dealt with the average compressive length. Now, when now the sigma is given here, the stress, compressive stress induced is given by sigma is equal to E multiplied by delta L by L. It is very clear from Hooke's law, because sigma is proportional to the stress is proportional to strain, sigma is proportional to epsilon, and it is constant and proportionality is E. So here the change in length per unit length is, or the strain according to longitudinal length, is given as delta L by L itself, and you know E is the modulus of rigidity itself. Now for constant restraint, you can restrain it partly and you can restrain it fully. The complete restraint thermal stress required is alpha minus alpha into E T minus T0, where it is main negative is given because we are inducing compressive strength, and changing length is multiplied by the Young's modulus will give you the stress itself, and change in length per unit length is multiplied by the Young's modulus will give you the stress induced there. Right? If the expansion is prevented only partially, then the stress induced here is sigma multiplied by K alpha into E T minus T0 itself. K is given as restraint constant resistor, restraint coefficient. There's the restraint coefficient. It is assumed that in the above analysis that E and alpha are independent of temperature. This is more or less E and alpha does not depend on the temperature. It is the inherent property of the constant raw material of our prismatic bulb itself. And for the elastic continuum, the temperature change is not uniform throughout. It's a function of time, first of all, and function of space coordinate itself. So, as we know, there is no average increase or decrease in stress is possible because we are doing it only for ourselves, just for the benefit of our calculation. It may so happen the stress induced maybe in somewhere more than the average stress, and average stress is lower than the maximum stress, or sometimes higher than the average, higher than the most of the stress induced. And we are supposed to do our design in terms of the maximum stress itself. So if we do the average stress, it may be wrong. Our calculations may be wrong, and our concerned part may fail because higher stress, average stress may not be the maximum stress itself. Now, here also temperature change is not uniform throughout. This formula of this coefficient helps, and this equation will take into account only when the temperature is uniform. Temperature change is uniform, but it never so. The elastic temperature change is not